Hey guys, Jesse with Texas Bushcraft. I'm in my garage today, a little bit different setting. And as promised, I will be making my micarta scales or handles for my peasant knife. There's going to be a little bit of a twist on it. I'm going to have some glow-in-the-dark layers on there. What I'm going to be using today is burlap, the resin of course, and some neon green cardstock. I think it's 60 weight, as well as some glow-in-the-dark dust that I'll be mixing in a separate bowl. But I'll go ahead and show you what I've got laid out here, the stuff that I'll be using, and we'll get started. So this will be my first time making micarta, and it's going to be, I guess, advanced micarta only because of the glow-in-the-dark powder. But let me go ahead and tell you what I've got here. Wax paper. This is just a roll of burlap. I got pretty much everything you see in front of you at Walmart. If I didn't get it at Walmart, I'll tell you. This is some glow-in-the-dark powder by Glow Ink. You can get this on Amazon. It's kind of expensive. It's about $7.50 for a package. It's a quarter of an ounce. I got 2 of those. A couple containers here. This Tupperware. This will be for my main fiber resin, and a couple Dixie cups here just to pour it, or I'll be using one of them for the glow-in-the-dark, because what I'm going to do is separate them. I'll have one regular resin and the other one will be filled with glow-in-the-dark, because I don't want to make the entire thing glow-in-the-dark. And I have 2 of them. I'm only going to be using maybe 1/8 of an ounce for it, but we'll see. Blade to cut stuff, of course. Got some just a paper towel for cleanup. This is my cardstock, 60 weight, really bright green. Lighting here is kind of weird, so. And this is the resin. This is Bondo fiberglass resin. You can get it at Walmart. It's 16 bucks, somewhere around there. And to get the layers nice and clamped, I have this homemade device. It's just 2 1x4s that have holes drilled in them, and this one has a wing nut because this is going to be the quicker one, and this side has just a regular bolt with about 6 washers in case I'll need them to squeeze them down. I also have some clamps that I don't have in front of me, but you'll see those in a minute. They're just 4-inch C-clamps. So I'm going to go ahead and get the camera set up and start mixing. So I've just got this cardboard down here just as protective against this table. I don't really have a workbench or anything, so I'm just going to have to use this old coffee table we have laying in here. First thing I want to do is see how exactly I'm going to make these scales. I mean, these scales are pretty small here, so I'm not too worried about the material. What I'm going to do is just make a piece probably about that size. I'm just going to take all these off and make sure. Now, I'm going to want to leave some room here for the wax paper. As on top of that, I'm going to wrap both of these boards in wax paper just so they don't get dirty, because I'm probably going to use them for future projects as well. I'm not worried about them being perfectly straight. I would like them to be pretty straight. So I'm leaving just a little bit of a gap here, just to, because when it gets compressed it might come out this way. Like I said, I've never done this, so I'm just kind of eyeballing everything and just going to go for it. So these are the layers, the green layers, that are going to be glow in the dark. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter but I think I can get 2 out of these. Yeah, it looks like it. Maybe if I... fold it in half, see if it's big enough. Because that would be very lucky. Yep. Got a little short. Not a big deal. So I'm just going to cut a bunch of these. Cut this next one a little bit longer, of course. That one was a little too short. There we go. Oh, one more layer. So yeah. You gotta think that's gonna get compressed a lot. And that might not even be big enough. I mean, granted, there will be some paper in there, but not enough to fill that out. So I'm gonna make some more and I'll get back to you. All right, so camera shut off on me. If you notice, the light's a little different because I unscrewed the light bulb right above me. I kind of want to see how much I want to mix. Appropriately enough, I have a highlighter to mix them both. I guess I'll mix that one first. I guess it doesn't matter. But my camera shut off on me. I wasn't paying attention. But let me show you the layers here. 6 layers of the cardstock, 6 layers of the burlap, 5 layers of the cardstock, and 7 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers of the burlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the hardener out to the very end when I'm ready. And I think I am ready. So what I'm going to do is guesstimate how much of this I want in there. I mean, this stuff is actually really bright. I'm sure you can see that. So I'm gonna add half this first round, and hopefully this will work. If not, too bad. That's probably about half. So I'm gonna mix this up. See how much glow I get, if any. Now this isn't very clear. I wish I had a clearer one. I'm sure there's one out there. Let's turn this light off. Yeah, that's not very bright at all. I'm glad I bought more. Sorry for the light, fellas. I'm just gonna add this whole thing in. I'm really contemplating whether or not I want to use the rest of this or half of it. You know what? I'm going to. Why not? You know, I bought it for this. I'm gonna use half of this. Get that even brighter. I'm sure I won't even use all this resin, but it'll be worth it in the end, I believe. I'd rather have added, well, I guess you can't really add too much. You can't get it too glow in the dark, I guess. So there's that. Now I don't want to contaminate my other one here with the glow in the dark. So I'm going to wipe that off. Make sure that's nice and clean. You can see the color difference. Hopefully this will still adhere well, even with the little granules in there. So let's add this hardener and get to work. I'm just gonna estimate here. So I used half of the bottle, and this is meant, so let's do this. And of course it's got a seal on the end. Why wouldn't I have thought of that? Alright, there we go. So let's use some more for this. Alright, now get that out of the way. Let's mix this up. Now you want to go fast. I've already got some junk in there. Gotta get that out. Now you want to move fast. Granted, it's a little chilly in here. It'll keep it from hardening as fast, but nonetheless, you still want to be in somewhat of a rush. Sorry if you can't see that. My camera working abilities aren't very great right now because doing multiple things here. Now if you notice, I started with the one that didn't have the glow in the dark in it. Now I don't think that glow in the dark stuff dissolves, which is fine. The only problem I'm going to foresee here is contaminating each layer. Because, I mean, I got to start with the glow in the dark. And I've seen videos where they just put a bunch on the wax paper and then just keep going. But if I put it on the wax paper, I'm afraid the glow in the dark will contaminate the other layers. Which honestly, I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal if it does. But I just kind of want to do it as good as possible the first try. So, remember, I've got gloves on, guys. It's very important. This stuff will probably eat you up. Layer one. I am going to put a little down. Just a little bit though. So now I'm going to fold this sucker up. I'll get this kind of wet so it'll stick in here. Center it. Do it I can't get the air out. Not too worried about the edges there. Boom. I'm just gonna cut these ends off. Let's see where we're at here. There's no particular reason I'm doing it that way. Alright, I'll take these gloves off. These are getting on my nerves. So, can't remember which side is which, don't think it matters. Alright, so I'm gonna put about 3 washers on there. Oh, 2 I guess. Only 2's gonna fit. That's fine. It's actually good. Screw on one end. Screw on the other. Now this is gonna make a huge mess when I start squeezing this thing down. Alright guys, so that's my first attempt at Micarta. Don't get me wrong, it didn't go as planned. I made a mess, and my gloves didn't hold up. Not very good. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that off. Hopefully soap and water, or maybe some orange go. But next time I'll make it smaller, for sure. But because it was coming out of the sides there, I think it made a little bit more of a mess than I wanted. But it's still oozing out of the edges. But I'm gonna let it sit overnight, and tomorrow I'm gonna come back in and see what I got. And hopefully start shaping it, and maybe those layers of glow will turn out really well. But I made a mess. I'm really glad I had that cardboard down, or it would have been terrible. I would have gotten in a lot of trouble. So, getting pretty late here. I'm just gonna leave everything in here, let that sit overnight. It says, I think maybe a couple hours or something it says on there. Let's see. 1.5 to 2 hours until repair is dry and cured. But I'm gonna let that thing sit for, well, essentially 8-10 hours, something like that. And tomorrow I'll come back in here and see what I got. So until then, I'll see you. It's a burlap with fiberglass resin and green cardstock as the accent and spacer, as well as this liner here. Now, I shaved off this end piece of the lanyard because I wasn't very fond of it, plus it had that knot here that I could feel it on the back of this. Now you can see this thing's a lot bigger than what it was, and I like that. It opens up and it has it's pretty loose here. I'm still gonna have to mess with these screws, and there's a pin on the inside, as we talked about before, that I might have to set a little bit deeper, but it won't stay open like that. But it stays closed fine, which is good. But like I said, I mean, on this knife, the safety is your hand. It's not going nowhere as long as your hand's holding it. And you can see that that thing fills my hand up. And that's why you can tell, that's why I knocked off that lanyard hole there. Because if I hadn't, it would have been stabbed me in the hand. But the pin was originally set further forward, so this back end piece would have been further down in the handle. But I didn't like it like that. I kind of wanted a different curve to it. You can see that it has a nice little arch here to it, and before this would have been further out, but I like the way that looks right there, and I wanted to leave a little bit out just so I could feel it in my hand when I'm messing around. But I haven't messed with the edge yet. I will soon. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Any farther back here, and when you're holding it, this ridge line here